On Sunday, the news of the world was killed by News Corp. Today, News Corp killed their own bid for BSkyB. How much longer are we going to see News Corp and Rupert Murdoch as one and the same? Could there come a day when the Murdoch family and News Corp part ways? This is the program that brings you life, the universe, and other strangeness. I'm Ian Beaumont. Welcome to Viewpoint. You know, I've resisted talking about this story because I've made no secret. I don't like the way Rupert Murdoch's newspapers and indeed some of his other media assets do business. It's not healthy business, let's put it that way. But there has definitely been a number of big changes. Sunday we of course saw the last edition of the News of the World, a 168-year-old paper that had been owned for the last 42 of those years by one man, basically, Rupert Murdoch. He took over the Sun and the News of the World basically back in 1969. And they have become synonymous with him and with everything that is bad about journalism. Rebecca Brooks may have said that in recent times, meaning the last few weeks, the News of the World had become toxic. But in fact, the Sun and the News of the World have been toxic for journalism and for political debate in this country for many years. The toxicity of News of the World is nothing new. In fact, those of us who follow the media almost like a religion would have said that the Sun and the News of the World have been toxic basically since Rupert Murdoch bought it. So, that was then. Today, we get the big surprise. Only one day after News Corp basically forced the government's hand into putting the merger to the Competition Commission, one day later, News Corp back out entirely. They kill the deal. They still hold 39% of Sky, but they are no longer seeking to buy out the other 61%. In my view, this is some diversionary tactic, really. They have come to realise that there are forces out there that are mobilising against them. And not just from the side of liberalism, but other conservative newspaper owners. You know, the Associated Newspapers Group, the owners of the Star and the Express, the owners of the Telegraph, all have resoundingly turned on Murdoch with the kind of vengeance that rarely happens between conservative newspaper owners. It's the kind of vengeance you usually see between conservative and liberal. Yeah, between the Sun and the Mirror. Or between or less so with like the Guardian and the Independent on one side and the Telegraph and the Times on the other. Much less so, but Sun and Mirror definitely. At the moment, every side is after Rupert Murdoch and is after News Corp. News Corp is being investigated in the US as well. Their assets could end up being taken from them if they are found not to be fit and proper. It is a possibility. I wouldn't say it was a big possibility, but it is a possibility. And you know what assets they have in the US. They have things like Fox News. They have the New York Post. They have the Fox Broadcasting Company and all the associated local stations. They also have a little something known as the Wall Street Journal, a very old business newspaper that was part of the Dow Jones Company for years, many years, and was since sold to Murdoch only within the last few years. So there's a lot at stake here. Remember, Murdoch's stake in Sky, while 39%, is still not the majority of the company. That actually still rests with shareholders of the old BSB and the market to a lesser extent. But there are plenty of shareholders out there who now look at News Corp and indeed look at Murdoch as being the problem, not the solution. Some News Corp shareholders in the US are suing Murdoch, saying that the corporate culture of News Corp is not conducive to good business. Heck, I could have told them that years ago. But the fact of the matter is, Murdoch's 80. Yeah, Rupert Murdoch is 80 years old. He has a son that's basically in charge of Sky over here, called James. He has a daughter who's kind of stepped out of the family shadow a bit, Elizabeth, but still connected. And of course there's the quote adopted daughter, Rebecca Brooks, who's the chief executive of News International. One wonders just how long Rupert Murdoch, James Murdoch and Rebecca Brooks will remain within the News Corp ranks, and whether shareholder revolts are on the cards. I would say there is a growing possibility, even getting towards a probability, that Rupert Murdoch may be forced to let go of the company he created, and the company that he loves more than anything else. He may be forced to let go of it. And his family may be forced to let go of it. And if that were to happen, what else could happen? What other possibilities out there? Could BSkyB be basically totally separated from News Corp? I don't think it's a probability, but I think it's a possibility. If the political will is there now, it could happen. But I don't think it's likely to. Also, is the probability of Fox News, Fox Broadcasting, all those US assets that Murdoch's built up over the years. Is there a strong possibility he'll lose them? I don't know whether it's a strong possibility, but I definitely think it's a possibility. As for other assets like Star, in Asia, Foxtel in Australia, and of course Murdoch's other newspaper holdings all over the world, how many of those assets would he be prepared to sacrifice to save himself? Because ultimately, I think that is at the heart of what Murdoch is trying to do. He is trying to save himself from being separated from his company. What he's trying to do is say, no, I'm putting the company's best interests first, not my own. I don't buy that for a second. He's trying to protect himself. He's trying to save himself from becoming separated from News Corp. Only time will tell whether he succeeds in that endeavour. That's Viewpoint. I'm Beaumont. Thank you for watching. Stay sharp. Stay tuned.